And joining me right now is Pennsylvania Senator Dave McCormick. Senator, it's great to have you. Thank you so much for being here. And we have a lot to get to, of course, of your priorities and what you've been working on in the Senate. But let me start here, because Bernie Sanders is also holding a panel discussion this week with two Chinese AI leaders. Now, you've studied this space for a long time. You know that we are in this race with China for AI. How do you feel about Bernie Sanders telling us that we should be including Chinese leaders in our AI planning?
Yeah, I think it's crazy. We are in an existential fight with China for leadership in AI. Winning that battle depends mostly on what we do. We can outcompete and be a leader, but we absolutely should expect that the Chinese are trying to infiltrate and steal, as they have through decades, our advanced technology. And so I view China as an adversary, really the biggest threat we have geopolitically. And I think we're going to have to make sure we have the right safeguards to protect our IP and to protect the advances we make here at home.
I mean, isn't it true that they're going to try to steal it anyway? So, why make it easy for the Communist Party to steal our technology by including them in our planning meetings? Because they've been stealing intellectual property for decades, right?
Absolutely, and it's insidious. It's integrated throughout the supply chain. I introduced legislation to ensure that China wouldn't get access to our most advanced chips by gaining access to data centers in other countries that use them. They have a comprehensive strategy for infiltrating and stealing our advances. America, make no mistake, is at the cutting edge of innovation. China is lagging us, but they can close that gap very quickly. They're going to be able to accelerate closing that gap if we make it easy for them. We need to have extreme protections against China taking advantage of naive thinking, as you just described from Bernie Sanders.
All right, Senator, let me move on to Kevin Warsh and your work in the Senate Banking Committee. The chairman nominee, Kevin Warsh, cleared that key hurdle to lead the central bank after the Senate Banking Committee advanced his nomination earlier this week. And I spoke with Senate Banking Committee Chairman Tim Scott yesterday, and here's what he said about the timeline to confirmation. Watch. Should we expect a full Senate vote and a confirmation the week of May 11th?
Absolutely. We should certainly expect it within the first 2 weeks that we're back in May. It's great news for the American people. We're finally going to have a Fed that's independent, focusing more on interest rates than they are on politics and climate change. So it's refreshing to see Kevin Warsh come in and take over at the Fed. We're excited about that.
So, Senator, you introduced Kevin Warsh during his confirmation hearing. Let's take a watch on that.
It's really a great honor to introduce my friend Kevin Warsh and welcome him. Kevin has been a friend for many years. As someone who knows Kevin and who knows this institution, that Kevin Warsh could not be more prepared for this, his finest hour. There's no one more fitting, no one more qualified to face this consequential moment as the 17th chair of the Federal Reserve.
So Jay Powell's term ends. On the 15th. Should we expect that after confirmation, and do you confirm that it's the week of May 11th, that he can move right in when Powell steps down on May 15th?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to have Chairman Warsh in place, as we should, by or sooner than May 15th. And I think this is a great win for the American people. I think the president made a superb choice. And I think he's going to be a great leader for reforming the Fed and really keeping the focus on working families. I mean, Kevin grew up in not rural, but upstate New York. He understands what inflation means to working families. He understands the importance of full employment. And I think he's going to be a Fed chair that really thinks outside the box. And as you heard him say in his testimony, he likes family disagreements. He likes to mix it up. You know, whether what Chairman Powell will do, it remains unclear to me. He has said that I guess he's going to stay as a governor for the foreseeable future. That's unprecedented. I think it's very, very rare. But I don't think it really matters that much. I think right now we need to look forward, and I think Chairman Warsh is going to be able to lead us into the future and be a great Fed chair.
And are you expecting the chairman to cut rates at some point? Do you have an assessment of the economy, the macro story right now, Senator?
Well, I think the economy has continued to show its strength with its recent numbers. There's no doubt that the war with Iran, the military conflict there, is creating a lot of uncertainty. That rise in fuel prices is certainly something that working families in Pennsylvania feel. But I think that's a temporary shock. If we're able to proceed on the path the president's laid out, I think we're in the driver's seat here. There's a fork in the road. Iran's going to have to decide what it's going to do. I hope it chooses the path to peace and prosperity. But once we get through this moment, I think gas prices will come down, and I think you're going to see all those underlying drivers of a strong economy, outside investment that's strong, the incredible data center boom and energy infrastructure boom that's benefiting places like Pennsylvania. This is a strong economy, and I think you're going to continue to see that through the remainder of the year. And what the chairman and the Fed does on interest rates, I wouldn't want to predict, but I would say that I think the testimony Chairman Warsh gave, or the soon-to-be Chairman Warsh gave, in terms of AI and the productivity impact of that, I think will help us think a little bit differently about interest rates going forward. That's deflationary, and I think that's going to probably give the Fed a little more flexibility than it would have had otherwise.
And it's a great point, because we've already seen huge productivity in the American economy. With AI on top of that, you have to believe that it only gets even more productive. Senator, I want to stay in Pennsylvania for a second and ask you about energy. You come from this energy state. You just introduced the Unlock American Energy and Jobs Act, which aims to reverse the regulatory restrictions on energy development that were in place while addressing 4 particular federal permitting choke points. And that's really important to the entire industry. I just spoke with the chairman and CEO of Chevron, Mike Wirth, and I specifically asked him if we are seeing demand move more toward the Gulf of America, move more toward the United States, given the choke point in the Strait of Hormuz right now. Here's what he just said. Watch this.
The U.S. is not only the biggest producer of oil and gas now, but it's also the biggest exporter of oil and gas. We're seeing dozens of large crude-carrying vessels show up at the Gulf of America to load and take supplies in large amounts to Asia. The U.S. is sending out liquefied natural gas at the maximum capacity that we possibly can. Excuse me, much of that to Europe. And so the U.S. is helping meet the moment, not only here at home, where supplies are ample and the concerns about shortages really do not exist, absent maybe California, and we are helping meet the demands of the world. And so I think the U.S. energy industry is standing tall during this moment of need.
So, Senator, next steps include loosening of permitting, which, of course, will only ensure that this progress continues. What can you tell us about your bill in that regard and your assessment of capacity in America?
Well, let me step back and just tell you why this is so important. By having permitting reform, we really unlock an economic and energy bonanza. It's really the most important thing we could do for our economy at this point. We have about $1.5 trillion or more sitting on the sidelines. Our permitting process for a pipeline or a new drilling is 5-6 years. It takes 50% longer than it did to win World War II. So this is a huge problem, and it's a really big deal for Pennsylvania, which is the #2 energy producer in the country. Our great chairwoman of the Environment and Public Works Committee, Shelley Moore Capito, is leading an effort, a bipartisan effort. But I wanted to introduce a bill that laid out the permitting reform agenda that's going to make a huge difference for Pennsylvania.
Well, this is a really huge point, Senator, because even though the president put lots of executive orders in place, we need you and your colleagues to codify it. We need Congress to codify those permitting rules.
He can't do it on his own.
That's right.
100%. This is going to give certainty. It's going to streamline and shorten the permitting process. It's going to get those shovels in the ground, creating great jobs for Pennsylvanians, great jobs for Americans.
Senator, good to see you. Thank you.